don't know what happened. We're live, I guess. Okay, I don't know what happened. Here we go. All right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
All right, everybody, welcome on in. NorCal Sports Network. Had a little glitch there tonight when things were starting up. Band was a little late. I guess they were in Glendale tonight. And all right, guys, welcome on in. Let me get my other glasses here so I can see what's going on. All right, everybody, welcome. Kill the band here. Well, guys, as the show says, ROKI SASAKI sweepstakes are down to 3 teams. As predicted, the Dodgers, Padres. I thought the Giants might be in there, but no. It's the Toronto Blue Jays, and I'm sure they'll be used in these sweepstakes. I think it comes down to Dodgers, Padres, and I'd be shocked if he didn't choose the Dodgers, Lou. I would be shocked. I mean, does he want to go to San Diego with that mess that they're dealing with the ownership?
I think he wants to go because one of his best friends pitches for them. It's not a huge market. Why do you want to go to the best team? You don't really have to prove yourself, but what better to spend time with a buddy and defeat the giant? So I've been saying for the last 6 weeks, and I'll stick with it. I think he's going to the Padres.
Okay, you think he's going to the Padres? Is that what you're seeing on the screen there, that he's going to the Padres?
No, I was just looking up, just seeing because, they keep saying he's best friends with Yu Darvish.
Oh,
so,
okay.
I was just making sure, that if there's, the problem is we're getting so many foreign players. I wanted to see if there's somebody else on their 40-man roster maybe I was unaware of.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm having a tough time. I saw the Warriors tonight, and like usual, they put me to sleep. So I'm just waking up, clearing the dust from my eyes. And that football game was sort of boring. So I'm glad we're talking about something positive. But yeah, not surprising. I mean, tomorrow, the great Buster, who I don't believe in right now, is going to be on KBR. And let's see if these homers actually ask him tough questions. Why didn't you get Burns? What exactly happened? Why did we not get Sasaki? You guys were the last team to meet with him. What's going on? We have a worse team. You're in charge. What's holding you back? At least just be honest. Hey, guys.
I don't think you can blame him for Sasaki, though, Luke. They had no shot.
I'm just throwing stuff out.
Yeah, I mean,
they met with them. But I think it was.
Think about it. Before, let me ask you a direct question. You put yourself in the shoes of ROKI SASAKI. You're got a chance to pitch with some friends in Ohtani and Yamamoto, and it happens to be the best team, and you have a chance to not have any pressure. You got a 6-man rotation, and you're on the best team. You're going to the playoffs, so you get extra money there. Get some playoff money, probably get some World Series money if things go right. And you can choose them, or you can choose the Giants, who have nothing. What are you choosing?
I need to think on this. No, the problem is the Giants aren't a destination. I think, like I said, I think he's going to the Padres because I think this guy is sort of cocky and he wants to prove himself. What is he going to do to be the best? And I like that in a pitcher. I mean, easily, yeah, let's go to the I don't want to play for the Yankees. They're not as good. Why not go to the Padres? It's who cares if they're having all these problems? Imagine if he can turn them around and actually beat the Dodgers. He's in 1 year, he's already become a legend. And I think that's really what this guy is.
I mean, yeah, the Padres is a up and coming. I don't know what's going to happen with their ownership fiasco. That to me would be a concern if I'm Sasaki. Look, I'm committing to you for 6 years. You're in the midst of a possible ownership shakeup, and I don't know how this is going to affect the rest of the team for the next 6 years. Are you going to end up having to be drawn into a long lawsuit that costs multiple millions of dollars, and then one of you loses and you sell the team, and then that team doesn't want to spend anymore to get, I don't know. I think if I'm just being real and I want to just go where there's no drama and the stress is not there, I've already got a surefire 6-man rotation. In fact, they got 8 or 9 guys if they add Sasaki, and then they can make trades to get even better. So I just don't, I'm with Will B. Realistic, the Giants had no hope. There was no chance.
They have no hope on everybody.
The Giants had no chance.
Yeah, I'm just thinking because you know what? Maybe he doesn't want to be third fiddle behind Ohtani and Yamamoto too. You know, we don't know. These guys coming, you know, from over there, they're a lot different than the players out here. Out here, you go to the best team because you want to get the ring. This guy might be thinking long term, and you know, I mean, again, I'm not going to be saying, hey, he's going to the Padres, he's going to the Padres if, you know, he's going to LA. Plus, I think we would have already heard rumblings if it was over to the Dodgers. So I'm going to go out on a limb. What the hell?
Yeah. All right. That's cool. I'll stick with the Dodgers just simply because
Ned, you and Ned are going to go. Plus, this show would be too boring if we were all the same. You know that.
Hey, look, the Dodgers already lost a player today he's going to sign with Pittsburgh in the international draft. He was slotted to go to the Dodgers, but because of the uncertainty coming with the 15th, are they going to sign Sasaki? Are they not going to sign Sasaki? He gave up. I think he doubled his money too, going to Pittsburgh. He got more money. So good for Pittsburgh. Somebody asked me in here, and let me go back to it. If I can find it, it was earlier. Let me see here. Hold on. Let me get earlier stuff in the chat. I got to go up. Okay. Clayton says, hey, Dan, was wondering if you can drive to Napa and on Saturday go to the Fan Fest in Napa at 10 a.m. because I want to be there. My dad wants to meet you. Oh, okay, Clayton. Well, I'm happen to be in Arizona. That's where I live. So if I was in the Bay Area, I would drive up to Napa and I'd probably stay at a nice winery, and my wife and I would go have a nice little vacay and enjoy a little wine tasting, and then go to the Fan Fest. But I'm not going to go drive 13, 14 hours. But
now, Dan,
I do
are you
appreciate
sure
it.
you can't drive 13 hours? Because I've heard rumblings in San Francisco that obviously Clayton and his dad care about, being Giants fans, of who's going to make an appearance at the Napa Fan Fest. I don't know if you've heard.
I haven't heard.
But one of your favorite players, just don't tell everybody, Matt Chapman is going to be one of the players you're going to be able to meet. Kyle Harrison, another winner of the show. Jordan Hicks, who you love as a starter. Eric
I like
Miller.
Hicks. I just don't like him as a starter. He's a good bullpen guy. That's all I'm saying. And
my buddy, Mr. Tristan Beck, and then everyone's buddy Lou Seal are going to be the guests this Saturday. Just keep it on the down low, because once the word gets out, I mean, they'll probably get thousands and thousands of people in Napa.
Okay.
I mean, that's who's going to be there on Saturday.
All right. LTTE Beaches. Love your show, Dan. Hey, thanks. And he's a Dodger fan. Look at that. All right. Oop, I hear the mute button coming, Lou. There it is, the siren. Lou's new mic. He can mute on a dime. Just like he can shift on a dime, Lou can mute on a dime now. I'm going through a couple chats here. Deloading. Dan, I think every reasonable Giants fan knew he wasn't coming here. Warriors got a better shot of signing Sasaki. Warriors probably could. Yeah. Look, guys, we may do a show on the fall of the Bay Area right now. It's
getting bad. You know what? When there's a fall this bad, Dan, I can only think of one person I could call for help, and that's Chapman Law. I need them to help me out with all the problems falling apart in San Francisco.
Yes.
We need someone to represent the city.
I 100% agree, Lou. And you know what I need to do? I need to pull that up, and I will read to you a little clip about Chapman Law Group. Let me see if I can pull that up in here. 1 second, as I got too much information in here. Let me see.
That's all right. While you're doing that, no, guys, if you go to the Fan Fest, enjoy yourself. Fan Fests are there to be enjoyment. I liked it when it was only at one place, when it was Pac Bell back then. But now that it's scattered all over, still go and enjoy. You know what? You get to see Giants players. There's no pressure. Take photos and have fun, especially if you're taking your dad. A lot of us, where our dads are either not here or, they're sort of getting old because we're all getting old. Have fun with your dad because this might be the last Fan Fest you can ever go. Have fun.
There you go. Clayton's a youngster. He's a teenager. He's one of our younger followers in the chat. But guys, hey, Chapman Law Group, forgot to mention that at the beginning. Make sure you give Chapman Law Group a call, 415-613-9483. Chapman Law Group is a full-service civil litigation practice based out of Marin County. They represent clients throughout California in federal and state courts in matters of real estate, trust litigation, business and environmental law, bankruptcy, personal injury, and general litigation. So if you have any needs, give Chapman Law Group a call, 415-613-9483. Make sure to tell them NorCal Sports Network sent you. All right, guys, let's get back to our chat here. And as I look in the comments section, I see Jason, they wasted money on Wade and Mike Yastrzemski. There's about 12, 13 million, close to that range there between those two players. There's a lot of things that the Giants could be doing. We'll see if they make some trades. We'll see. Do the Giants have any trades in them? Here we go. Viralocity. Hi, Dan. Just realized about the caps on your wall are stacked based on last year's standings. Go Dodgers, by the way. Shout out from Mexico. All right, Viralocity. Yes, they are based on last year's standings. See that? There you go. Let me get out of the way.
They're the Giants in fourth place. You don't need to move them the rest. It's been 2 years. You can just keep them there permanently.
All right. Hopefully one day the Giants rise to the top. But as the old saying, cream rises to the top. That still tends to be true, doesn't it, Lou?
Yeah. Hey, Dan, can I just tell Clayton one thing? You're going with your dad. Make sure you just can't show up. So you just got to go to sfgiants.com. They have a Fan Fest thing, and you do need to register. The tickets are free. But if you show up just with your dad, you're not going to be able to get in. Cost you nothing. sfgiants.com. On the bottom of the page, it says Fan Fest. You just get free tickets. You're set and enjoy. Go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry. Just want to make sure
Giants don't deserve our money, says Will Martinez. I would tend to. Okay.
I wish I knew that back in October when I paid for my tickets. I figured, I listened to a couple guys on the chat, and they told me to believe in Buster. So,
yeah.
Thanks, chat.
We're going to be joined by the youngster here shortly, guys. The youngster with lots of knowledge, baseball knowledge. Let's see what else we got. So, according to the insiders, the Giants don't like Alonso's asking price. So, most free agents don't want to come, and the ones that would, the Giants don't want to pay the asking price. What a mess. Absolutely, Will. I have been saying this. You don't have anybody with the caliber of Pete Alonso's bat that can drive in runs. Pete Alonso is not a bad ball player. I mean, if you took a look at Pete Alonso's statistics, he's actually been a lot better than I thought. He does strike out a lot, but you know what? He's also a true power hitter. The Giants guys have guys that strike out 25%, same as Alonso, but they don't have near the power. Let's just pull something up here as we welcome in Bora. Welcome, Bora, to the show. Good, good. We're just going to pull up this. If you see this little there, we just read that about Pete Alonso. The Giants don't want to meet his asking price. You know, if you can get a good ball player, get him. Take a look at Pete's stats there, guys. I mean, what do you notice here? Look at the home runs. 53, 16, 37, 40, 46, 34. RBIs, 120. Forget 2020, even though he did hit 16 homers, pretty good in 57 games. 94, 131, 118, 88. Last year was a little bit of a down year, but he is only going to be 30 years old. Right now, Pete is he's 29. Wait a minute. He just turned 30 last month. So he's 30 now. Okay, but he'll be 30 the whole season. Why wouldn't you guys, what do you think, Bora? Would you offer Pete Alonso a 5-year deal with the 5th being a team's club option and give him an opt-out, say, after 2 years? That means you can get out of the deal after 4 years.
I would definitely do that. I would offer Pete a 4-year deal. I would offer him a 5-year deal because the power's there. We know the power's there, and the power's going to play at Oracle. I know a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, they have Eldridge." Well, you don't have Eldridge yet, and right now you have Lamont Wade Jr. and Wilmer Flores. So that's not really a viable option. Let's be honest. Wilmer Flores might be cooked. I don't know if he's going to play this year. They might end up releasing him or something. Lamont Wade Jr. is fine as a bench bat. I don't have any problem with him being on the roster. Just I have a problem with him being the starting first baseman. Pete Alonso would bring you that 3rd, 4th lineup spot. He would provide the power. I mean, the power's there.
Well, it stretches the lineup out, doesn't it, Bora?
It completely stretches the lineup out because now you can have Adames as the 3, Alonso as the 4, maybe Ramos as the 5. Then you can put Chapman in his right spot, which is around 6. 5 or 6 would be Chapman's spot where he's best, I think.
I think he's best at 6 or 7. 5 is he was at 5 a lot last year.
Okay, yeah. I mean, 5, 6, 7. One of those spots. Definitely not at the 3 or 4 spot. He needs to be lower in the lineup. But the thing about Pete Alonso is look at the batting average. That scares me a little bit. In 2023, he was at 217. Then last year was at 240. I don't know. I mean, it seems like it might be that 2023 was a bad year and it might be trending up. But I don't want a Pete Alonso if he's going to hit 230. I want him if he can hit 250 and above, and if he can hit with runners in scoring position. If he hits 34, 35 home runs, but he's driving in 88 runs, I don't know how much that's going to help. I mean, it's going to help, but I don't know that it's going to help.
That would have led the Giants on RBIs, by the way.
It would lead the Giants in RBIs, and that would definitely help. But their issue right now is hitting with runners in scoring position, and I haven't looked. We can look at the stats, but I haven't looked enough to see if he hits with runners in scoring position. But he would definitely be an upgrade, and it's better to have a Pete Alonso and a Bryce Eldridge and just move one of those guys to DH than have no Pete Alonso and Bryce Eldridge coming up, who's a question mark. I mean, he's a complete question mark. You don't know if Bryce Eldridge is going to be the guy. There's a good chance he's not going to be the guy.
You know, Bora, we were talking in the beginning. I want to get back to this. We got a lot of people in here watching right now based on what we were talking about with ROKI SASAKI. It's down to 3 teams: Dodgers, Padres, Blue Jays. Where do you see ROKI landing? I know we did a video on this a week or so ago. But now that it's down to 3 teams, where's ROKI end up? Is he going to be in Dodger blue? Is he going to be brown and gold, or is he going to be in Canada?
I think there's only one right answer, and that's the Blue Jays. No, no, he's a Dodger. I'm pretty confident that he's a Dodger. There was that video that you sent the group chat of ROKI SASAKI throwing in a Padres uniform. That I don't know if there's any merit based on that, just because I've heard reports and I've seen online things that Ohtani was apparently trying out for the Blue Jays last year, and the Blue Jays provided him with Blue Jays stuff. There's been a lot of that with SASAKI and the Blue Jays this year. I kind of think the team just provides the uniform to the player to allow them to work out. I don't. You and I were talking today, and you had said that you kind of think there's going to be some, he might go to the Padres. He might go to the Blue Jays. And eventually he's going to go to the Dodgers. I agree with you. He's going to go to the Dodgers, I think. There's too many things add up to the Dodgers for him not to go to the Dodgers. Again, last year, right when Ohtani signed with the Dodgers, what was it, like a day later, SASAKI requested to be posted for the MLB. He wants to play with Ohtani. Everything just makes sense for him to go to the Dodgers. Now, is there a chance that he goes to the Padres? Yes, there's definitely a chance. I think Yu Darvish is that guy. I think they're friends. They're acquainted with each other. That would also make sense. I don't know why the Blue Jays are a finalist. I really don't. I don't understand that at all. I think it's between the Dodgers and Padres. I'm going to say like 85%, 90% Dodgers, 10 to 15% Padres.
Right. Here's what we were referring to today. I think we're okay to play this right off Twitter. This isn't any Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let me go ahead and play this. And you can hear some sound in here as well if I can get it to work. Oh, I'm on the wrong. Wait a minute. Why am I not getting sound on here?
Click the middle of the screen.
The middle of the screen?
Yeah.
What is that doing?
It's not working.
Try
to double click it.
Jeez. All right. Well, maybe you can pull it up. It's under what's this guy's username? At Pods PLS win. Okay. At Pods, please win. Okay. I don't know why it's on my end. It's just not working, but we'll get that out of there. And so this is ROKI SASAKI. He was in a, hey, senior, I totally agree with you. I've been saying this. The Giants are like the Dubs. It's time to trade your old dudes and rebuild. Absolutely. I'm even on that bandwagon with the Warriors. Why would you guys go down with this, just a sinking ship with valuable assets? Throw them off board. Get rid of, it's like the Giants. I mean, teams that just think they're going to keep winning with older people and not get younger. Look, I don't want to bring up too much football, but the Rams, second youngest team in football. Look at them.
The video, I can't find the video because the video has been deleted from Twitter. Someone requested.
Oh, maybe that's why. That's interesting. Oh, I bet you because they didn't want that to be seen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Well, guys, ROKI. Well,
where do you, Dan? I know where you think he's going to land, but let me ask you where he's going to land.
I think he's going to be a Dodger.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as I put it, he's got a chance to not have any real pressure on him, because even if he had to spend some time in AAA with the Dodgers, it would be fine because they've got enough pitching and they can work on. He's only 23, so, but They've got all the hitting. They've got all the fan base. They've got everything at their disposal. Why wouldn't you sign with the team? And the fact that the Padres, I would think I would probably gauge it if the Padres weren't having ownership issues and the drama going on between that. I would probably rate it 60, 30, 10 for the Blue Jays. But I think it's more like 80, 10, 10, maybe 20, maybe 80, 15, 5. I think the Blue Jays, I would be shocked if he went to the Blue Jays. I mean, you're going to go from Japan to Canada all the way across. I mean, another 6 hours by flight, into it just doesn't seem to make sense to me to get that much further away from Japan. LA's natural fit. San Diego would be fine. They're a young team. He could, if he wants to be the ace and he wants to be the guy, I could see him choosing the Padres.
It's interesting because I'm looking at the Padres rotation right now. So Dylan Cease is their one. Then they have Michael King and Yu Darvish. After that, they have Randy Vasquez. I've never heard of him. Matt Waldron, the knuckleballer. Johnny Brito and Joe Musgrove, who's going to be sidelined for all of 2025. So he would be going into it. And I don't think the Padres are going to be running a 6-man rotation. The Dodgers with Sasaki are likely to run a 6-man rotation, which he's used to, which Ohtani's used to. And it's just going to.
And Yamamoto's used to.
And Yamamoto's used to. It's just going to put all the pressure. It's going to take all the pressure away. And you said it, I think you said it with Ned the other day. All these guys, instead of pitching 160 to 180 innings, they're going to be pitching 140 to 160 innings. So they're going to be much more ready for the playoffs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then you know what you do when you got 6 starters and you're in a playoff series? Now you go 4 starters because you only need 4 in a playoff series because of the days off. And you got 2 other guys that are starters that you can put in the bullpen and they still can pitch. So you're just totally loaded to be able to do that. The other thing why I think it's going to be the Dodgers is the Dodgers have been making moves to prepare for this. They just lost a guy that they were going to sign internationally because they didn't want to put any of that money towards him. And they could be making some trades possibly to add more money if they want to. It looks like the Dodgers are going to give their full pool money to Sasaki. So they've got what, 5 million, a little over 5 million, I believe. They could add another 2.5 million with several trades. They might even be able to add as much as 3 million. But I think they've got a deal done. I really do. I think they've got a deal with the Dodgers. Now, I could be way off, and he signs with the Padres. Padres feel like they have a good shot. I heard Mike Schilt say it earlier. Dan sent you ROKI video on X. Okay, so Mark sent me something. Let me check it out.
Hey, Dan, while you're saying that, can I say something about Pete? About why the Giants won't get Pete Alonso? I don't know if you've heard what the Mets and his agent said is he's willing, if he offered a hometown discount with the Mets. I don't know if you saw that, Bora.
Yes, I did.
Pete, where it would only be a 3-year deal, where every other team has to go 5-year deal. So when you have a chance, first of all, to play with a superstar like Soto, who will give you protection, and the Mets only have to sign him for 3 years, say $30 million, instead of 5 years with every other team. I mean, the Mets have every advantage. It's completely up to the Mets. And if the Mets don't sign him, especially with the discount rate and only 3 years, then the Giants shouldn't sign Pete, because that means the Mets see that he's not worth it. You know what I mean? So I just think it's one of those things where I think there's a reason why he hasn't been signed. I know the Giants could use him, but there's a big difference between 3 years and 5 years. So I just wanted to make sure in case the chat didn't see that. Bora, great to see you. Are you down in LA? Is everything okay?
I'm not down. I'm going down to Orange County in a week, so I'm still up.
Well, good luck with everything.
Right,
just wanted to make sure. All right, thanks.
All right, so I'm trying to pull up this ROKI thing. Mark sent it to me. I can see it, but why is it not showing up in my feed here?
Wait, Lou, what do you think? Where do you think Sasaki's going?
I've been saying since day one, I think he's going to the Padres. When I see it on MLB Network, I guess him and Yu Darvish are like best buddies. He calls him all the time, asks for advice. And I know when Ohtani signed, I think it was like within 24 hours, you're correct that he says, hey, I want to go to the U.S., but it's funny. Everyone tries to go to Yu Darvish and ask him, hey, is he coming? Is he coming? And he won't answer because I think these guys have a pact where I don't want to say anything until that date. In fact, he just celebrated, I think, what was his 25th birthday, and Yu Darvish was with him, with his arm behind him. So I think they're pretty close. And they always said, he wants to prove himself. I think this kid's sort of real cocky son of a bitch, which I like. And why not go to the Padres and knock off, the Dodgers? That's what I've been saying from day one. So I think he's going there. That's just me.
We got any volume on this?
You're in charge of everything there, Dan.
I'm not hearing it. You guys hearing volume?
I don't think there's any volume to the video.
I heard it earlier on the one guy's because he said, is that so-and-so and that so-and-so? Okay, so this is him working in the outfield near the warning track, just throwing. You see AJ Preller's down there, and who else is there I can spot?
He has no control. He's all over the place, Dan.
So this is just pretty common practice. Guys just go out and work out. So the fact that he's working out for the Padres didn't sound like he worked out for the Giants. It looks like this might have been, I'm not sure if this was today or
how old? Because
yesterday.
Didn't he just get back in the last 36 hours?
Not sure. From Japan. Okay. I'm not sure when he got back, but as Bora pointed out, this is fairly common practice for players when they work out with a team. They provide, a little bit of shirt, Padre gear, Dodger gear. If you went to the Giants, it was over the weekend, Mark says. Okay. Thanks, Mark. It was over the weekend. So the Giants got ruled out. And, it's not surprising. If you're ROKI Sasaki, why do you want to go to a team that looks like they could be years away? Got one of the worst farm systems in all of baseball. I hope tomorrow morning on, what is it called? Murph and what?
Marcus.
Okay. If they're listening, I hope you guys ask tough questions. Like, were you guys willing to go 6 years? The deal that Burns
you got to
signed
tell
for?
Bora what you're talking about. He wasn't on it yet. Are you aware about tomorrow morning they're interviewing Buster?
Yeah, I saw that.
10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So I want to hear tough questions. Were you guys willing to match or do better than Burns? What was your reasoning for not going 6 years or not giving the opt-out? Let Buster explain it. I want to hear it. I want to hear, maybe he has a good reason and it might make total sense. But the questions need to be asked. What's the plan? Why are you signing Adames and Chapman, who are both, Chapman's going to be 32. Adames will be 31. Careers 10. I mean, look at Buster. What did he retire at? Like 33, 34? 33? Like that, yeah. Right? He retired after the 21 season. He's been gone 3 years now. He's 37, so 34. Buster still had it, but he was diminishing a little bit. We saw Longoria, Crawford, once they hit 34, 35, they started to go downhill. It's just kind of common, especially a position player. Pitchers seem to be able to go a little longer. But let's ask those questions. I want to hear why the Giants aren't adding more. There's got to be a philosophy. And there's two schools of thought here. Bora, Lou, two schools of thought. One is not going after 30-plus-year-olds and giving them 5-6-year contracts, because we saw what happened with the Giants age out Brandon Belt, Brandon Crawford, Pablo, Pence. They all were in their 30s. They all were really good up until like 2016. They all had pretty much down years. And then 21, I don't know if there was something in the water over there, but something happened where everybody just clicked at the same time. Had their best years. Posey had a Posey year, but Belt and Crawford had years that they hadn't seen anything like in their whole career. So there is something to be said of not going out and signing all these 30-year-olds because you lose your draft picks. But why are you signing Chapman and Adames if you're, I'm just kind of confused, because the other option is let your kids play. Fitzgerald, Matos, Lee, Schmidt ain't going to play. Luciano, they're not going to, but they don't have room for him. They do if they put one of them at first base, like Luciano, or even Fitzgerald at first, and go sign a second baseman, or put Schmidt at second. You could do that. But is that the philosophy Buster's going after? Let's see what the young guys do, because you can't turn this thing around all at once in 1 year. And if the young guys produce, then let's say the young guys produce. And let's say they're still not a playoff team. Let's say come trade deadline that Fitzgerald looks like he's a keeper. Matos is playing. It looks like, hey, we found a guy, can be an everyday outfielder for us. Somebody else is doing well, but yet they're still not a competitive team. They're still 2, 3, 5 games under 500, and they're just doing what the Giants do. Is there a possibility then you say, okay, now it's time, we saw what our young guys can do. Let's move off of some of the vets.
That would be possible if they didn't offer Justin Verlander a full no trade clause. I don't get it. The Verlander signing was
Chapman and Adames have the same.
Exactly. The Verlander signing I liked. I think it's a fine contract. But I was thinking when it happened, like there's a possibility that during the trade deadline, if the team isn't producing and Verlander's having a decent year, he could fetch something. Now it seems like that's not a possibility because he has a full no trade clause. I don't really understand what he's doing either. I have a hunch that they're just playing for 2026 and they're just going to play it out this year. And the Adames signing was the one guy that they needed because they did need a shortstop. I like Fitzgerald at second base because he's athletic, he's fast. I like him there rather than at first base where you don't necessarily get to showcase your athleticism. I think Luciano, if I were on the Murph and Marcus and I were interviewing Posey, I would ask him, like, what is the plan for Luis Matos and what is the plan for Luciano? What are you doing with those two guys? Because Luciano's been your number one prospect for 5-6 years. Are you just gonna give up on him after what, like 30-40 games? And he hasn't had one full season. Are you just gonna give up on him? Or are you gonna play him at DH? Is he gonna be the DH? And are you gonna let him get some run? Is Matos just won the Rookie of the Year in Venezuela or something? Are you gonna give him run? Or are you gonna start Mike Yastrzemski at right field? To me, this year should be all about. It should be all about seeing what you have in the young kids. It should be all about seeing what you have in Fitzgerald, seeing what you have in Matos, seeing what you have in Luciano, seeing what you have in Birdsong, seeing what you have in Kyle Harrison, even seeing what you have in Casey Schmidt. Because if you don't find out what these guys have, I mean, these guys could be legit players. They could also be busts, but you just have to figure out. And if you don't give them the chance to figure it out at the major league level, then you're just not a sound organization. You're not operating correctly, because these guys are your young kids. These guys are the foundation. The farm system is the foundation of the franchise. And if you don't build a strong foundation like they haven't in the past, and they don't have a strong foundation now, it's just, you're never going to be able to be consistently good year after year after year. The farm system is up right now. Luciano's up, Schmidt's up, Matos is up, Fitzgerald's up. And those are the main guys. These guys are up right now. They've had major league time. You just got to figure out what you have in them. And I think this year, if I were running the team, obviously I'm not, but if I were running the team, I would just give these guys a shot. See what you have in the first half of the season. Trade away a Yaz. I don't know why Mike Yastrzemski's on this roster. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense, especially for $9 million. He's 34. He's going to be 35 this season. What is the value there? He's been on this team since 2019. What is it? 6 years. He's been on this team, or he's been on this team 5 years. This is going to be his 6th year on the team. What has he done to propel this team into a playoff spot?
This will be year 7.
This is going to be year 7. What has he done to propel this team into a playoff spot? He was good in 2019 and he was good in 2020. Those were his only 2 years.
Yep.
2 good years. After that, it's been average to above average. I mean, why does this guy have a locked spot on the roster when you have a Matos in the waiting who could potentially be better? I mean, I'm going to say potential because we don't know. He's just a prospect, and prospects are just prospects until they're not. But you got to find out, and this is the year to find out.
It definitely is. SD7777 says they're going to play the kids. Gerard and Carcianone out first base, Matos and McRae in the outfield. We'll see about McRae, because you got Ramos too. So you got 4 outfielders in Lee, Ramos, McRae, and Matos.
Yes.
You can't play all 4 of them. So, and Virulosity, let's have a little fun with Virulosity. He's a Dodger fan, and we respect, we are Giants fans. So, but we're not the typical Giants fans that just rip on a team just to rip on them. They are the class of the league. But let me just have a little fun here. Number one, if you win it all in 25, it will be 3 and 6 years. The Giants did it 3 and 5 years. Okay. And number 2, one of those is a Cracker Jacks box ring. It is not a real ring. Go grab a box of Cracker Jacks, open your little prize, and see if you get a little plastic ring, because that's what the Dodgers 2020 season was. Look, I know, and people say, oh, you would have been excited if the Giants would have won it. And I was said, no, I wouldn't have. They were 29 and 31. They could have got on in if they won their last game and went 30 and 30. And if they would have won the World Series that year, I would say the same thing. It wasn't a real season. So I'm not going to say the Dodgers 3 and 6 years and really, well, okay, let's give you credit. 2.5 in 6 years if you win it this year. Doesn't beat 3 and 5 years. Okay?
Don't even give them the half. It's not a half. It's a 0.
It's not. It's a quarter. It's a third. It's a third.
Dan,
parade equals no championship. Okay.
Dan, can I say something?
Sure.
But that's LA for you, because you remember last year they put up the pennant when the Los Angeles Lakers won the midseason tournament. They had a celebration. They did everything. So that's just LA. I want to bring up 2 comments before I forget. One is KMBR, the commercial leader, is just like our beat writers. We won't get what we want, but we can wish they would ask them, because that's what the fans want to know. It's just come to a point now. And then I forgot my other question. Damn it, Earl. Yeah, KMBR just, they throw out softballs for them, so I wish they could. And I'll think of my other question. Unfortunately, I forgot that, but let's just remember that. Yeah. So, but you know what? Second of all, the Dodgers aren't even in the playoffs yet. Okay. Until they get in the World Series, don't curse them and say they already got 3 in 6 years. They got to prove it. Remember, Philadelphia is still going to be there. Atlanta is going to be there. Who knows? Sasaki at San Diego is going to be there. I know the Giants aren't going to be there, but there are going to be other teams, and it's hard to repeat. Let's remember that.
Muted. Yes, that is true. It's hard to repeat. But as you said 2 statements there. The playoffs haven't started. We know the Dodgers will be in the playoffs, and unfortunately, the Giants most likely will not be in the playoffs. But Robbie DeVille says, Bora, did you try out for baseball yet? Well, that's coming, I think, right? Baseball season is coming. He's working out. He's getting ready. And he will be wearing a Padre uniform throwing pitches, and we will have him on X, and we will put him right here.
Yep.
Bora will be down, and we'll be like, is he going to sign with the Padres? Is Bora signing with the Padres or the Dodgers? Hey, Bora, let me ask you, if you were a free agent right now and you had any team, all the teams in the league courting you, and the money was not much of an issue, where are you going?
Any team in the league?
Yeah, they all want you. You're a star. What position are you playing? Outfield?
Let's say I'll pitch.
Okay, you're pitching.
I would want to go to the Padres because I would want to be able to take down the Dodgers. It's just I want to take down the best. I want to knock down the best. And if I get the opportunity to be able to knock the Dodgers out, then I'll do that. And San Diego's an electric ballpark. Their fans are just electric.
That's true. It is a happening place. Now, somebody had a comment in here. I think it was George.
Dan, while you're looking for that, I remember my other question?
Sure, go ahead.
Sorry about that, because the Dodger guy threw me off. You know, Bora brought up a good point. What the hell is going on with the Giants? That interview today with Verlander was a joke. He didn't know any of the players. He was shocked the Giants actually offered him $15 million, which means nobody else did. All they talked, Susan Slusson came out like an idiot like she is, and she said, are you concerned about wearing number 35 because Crawford wore 35? And it put Verlander says, well, you know, I spoke to Buster about it, and we're gonna talk to him. It's like, wait a minute, this guy's a Hall of Famer. We don't even have a press conference out here. Instead, we got to do a Zoom. He was completely ill-prepared. And then they had some bozo named Mr. Vanilla, who was the sort of the middle guy who I've never seen before. He made it even worse. You know, if I'm Verlander, I'm like, is this the shit I'm getting into? I got some guy that basically didn't know that my teams of who I was at. Then I got some beat writer who I don't know is asking me about 35 and talking more about a shortstop who's not a Hall of Famer when I am. What am I getting myself into? I'm glad I'm only signed to these goddamn Giants for a year. That's the way I felt. It was the worst interview I've ever seen, you know, and this is on CNBC where, you know, they had some bozo. The guy didn't even know the basic.
You're talking about the guy who was saying we'll go to so. That is the media relations director.
He should be fired already.
That's the guy I would
get hired. I've never seen him before. He was a bozo.
I had to deal with him. I'm yeah.
Oh, okay. You know, it's just ridiculous. You know, if you're going to do that and you're signing someone of Verlander stats, you get somebody good, not this joker who didn't, you know, the guy didn't even know that he pitched in the World Series at the ballpark. He goes, I pitched her. He goes, I pitched her before in the World Series. He goes, oh, no, well, you know, and then he realized he made a mistake. Come on, be prepared. That's the problem with the Giants. We have bozos running it. You know, I thought we only had one bozo here. He plays for the Warriors. But when I see an interview with a future Hall of Famer, I'm embarrassed.
I will say this I thought it was a poor question by Susan Slusser because.
And wear more makeup, Susan. Thanks.
She might have just woke up. But the whole thing is you don't ask a question like that because the way went down is that Buster already talked to Crawford and said it was okay, right? And then Verlander says, well, I want to talk to Crawford to get his feel for it. Now, if it comes back and he doesn't wear 35, it kind of looks like it's on, he didn't feel comfortable in talking with Crawford. Look, the whole thing, who really cares what number he wears, right? It's not an important question you ask at a press conference. It's let the Giants work that out. He just signed, and then ask it later. Whatever. But Verlander, I thought, handled it well. He says, I can go either way. I'm cool either way, right? I thought Verlander, to me, I thought he came across as pretty sincere, seemed like a good guy. What was your takes on him, Bora?
I thought he seemed cautiously optimistic about this team. What else is he going to say? He's like, This is a 70-win team. But he seemed pretty upbeat, and I think he was happy to sign with the Giants, which makes, it's not like Blake Snell or Matt Chapman, who, Matt Chapman's obviously happy that he's here, but it wasn't like end of the line, end of spring train or beginning of spring training. You got to sign somewhere. Might as well be in San Francisco signing. He said he brought up the comment by Aaron. He said he didn't even consider the Giants once Buster called. I don't know what to take into that, because if I were in his shoes, I wouldn't really expect the Giants to call anyway, or either. Considering at where they're at, I was surprised by the signing. Or you guys were surprised by the signing too, right?
I was surprised, yeah.
Yeah, because it kind of seems like Verlander, the pitcher he's a future Hall of Famer. He would want to go to a team that is kind of in their World Series window and has a chance to win a World Series. The Giants don't have any chance to win a World Series, so it was a little surprising for him to come here. I do like it though, and I think there are positives and negatives, but
I'm okay with it. Look, it's a 1-year deal. To me,
desperation.
To me, it's like if Verlander pitches well and the Giants happen to be playing well, it helps them. If they're not playing well and he's pitching well, you can trade him and get something for him. But
if he accepts the location,
the no trade is fine. It's all that does is give the player the control of saying, I will accept a trade to these 6 teams.
But with him, it's not his choice. It's all about Kate. Whatever she wants, that's what's going to happen. The Giants can say it, and he goes, Kate, what do you think? No, we're staying here. Thanks. I want to finish dead last.
Wait, can we blow up your name a little bit? Can we hold on 1 second? Let's Bora, how do we get him in the center? There he is, Mr. Salty. There he is, Mr. Salty.
$15 million for a 42-year-old guy that's going to be our number 3, because we hope Ray comes back. The decisions, to tell you the truth, we got rid of Farhan. Now Buster's in charge, supposedly, and we're worse. How is that even possible? How is it even possible that we're getting worse?
Let's look at something more happy. Let's look at my new lab.
There you go,
here.
Buster. What is that? A newcomer? New recruit?
That's Bo.
Oh.
Hey, Bo. He's got a little bandage on his tail because he's got a happy tail, and so he's been whipping the tail around, and he cut the end of his tail. Bo.
I love black labs. Very underrated.
Bo. You a good boy, Bo? He's a good boy.
Is Buster okay with Bo there?
Yeah, they're doing good. They're doing good.
Okay. Yeah.
So, all right, guys.
Let me say one more thing about the SASAKI thing, and Dan, you and I have talked about this. Lou, let me get your input after I say it.
Yes, sir.
The Giants, to me, when the SASAKI thing was going down, and there might have been a small chance that he would sign with the Giants. The one thing I said was the only chance he has to sign with the Giants is if Posey convinces him that he can take down the Dodgers. Ohtani versus I'm blanking on his name. Sasaki. Like that is prime baseball. That is prime time. If it's Sasaki versus Ohtani, and it's Giants versus Dodgers. The problem is the Giants aren't rivals of the Dodgers right now. It's the Padres and Dodgers. So like when I'm looking back on it, there was no chance the Giants had, because it was if Sasaki wants to take down the Dodgers, he would sign with the Padres because those are their rivals. The Giants need to get back to their winning ways so that they can be the Dodgers' rival. I mean, the Giants have been the Dodgers' rivalry for how many years? 60, 70, 80 years? It's been a long time. And
you go all the way back, Bora, to when
30s.
did this rivalry start? 30s?
30s. They were all literally 3/4 of a mile away from each other. Ebbets Field, Polo Grounds, and Yankees. I mean, it was amazing. And if you ever see a photo, you could see each one.
The Giants aren't good for 5 years, and all of a sudden the Padres just completely overtake them. I mean, why, as a Giants fan and as the Giants ownership and the Giants upper management, why are you happy with this? Or I mean, I shouldn't say happy. Why are you okay with this?
Why are you letting it happen?
Why are you letting it happen?
Guess what I just looked at? I was thinking, I just got this idea, Lou, in my head. You know, Lou's a big numbers guy when it comes to the casinos. He knows all the overs and unders. Lou, have you checked the Giants over-under lately?
Did it go down? I know what it was 2 days ago.
What was it 2 days ago?
It was 80.5.
I'm looking on FanDuel right now. It is 79.5.
That means probably they thought Sasaki might come, and they did it at 80.5, or they maybe were going to sign somebody, and now it's down. You know, and then again, remember last year it was 81.5. They signed Snell and Chapman since Bora's here, and it went to 83.5. So now it's below 70.
Interesting. Let me pull up a couple of comments that I starred here. And that one would be, first of all, Ryan, I may change the dog's name now because I don't have losers in my house. I can't have guys that lose. All right. I'm going to have to name my dog. We got Buster. How about if we go with ROKI? Let's name the dog ROKI. All right. He doesn't. Hey, ROKI, you okay with that? All right. All right. My other, getting serious here. This was earlier when we were talking about, when I was talking about the Giants not signing all these 30-year-olds. Look, let me read this comment and then I will give you a rebuttal to this, George, or better understanding. Posey is not going to be asked those questions, which I was talking about Murph and McCoondale. What was the guy's name again? Marcus. Okay. Posey is not coming to be asked those questions. You had Bobby Evans on your show, and you said we cannot ask Bobby those tough questions. You guys act like players in their 30s are not good. Stop. Okay, George, I never said players in their 30s are not good. I think guys in their early 30s are good and can be good. That's very obvious. And Alonso's going to be 30. Bregman's 30-ish. Oh, Adames is going to be 31. Chapman's going to be 32. What I'm saying is, and what I said is, I don't think Buster wants to sign 30-year-olds to have a whole team of 30-plus-year-olds that are on contracts for 6 years or longer, because you might get good production out of them the first 2-3 years of that contract, but at the back end, that's what causes teams to really fade and then have to go into a giant rebuild, a sell-off. You know, the Cubs did that a few years ago, didn't they? The Cubs, when they traded Baez and Rizzo and Bryant. Who else went in that sell-off?
Chapman, maybe? Was it Chapman?
No, Chapman was never a Cub. Oh, you mean Aroldis Chapman? Mm-hmm. Oh, I think he went to the Yankees, right?
I think the Yankees traded him. They won the World Series, and then as a free agent, he went back. But I don't think he was part of that 3. But yeah.
But there was Rizzo, Bryant.
Oh, the shortstop. No, they signed him as a free agent.
Baez.
Baez, yeah.
Was the second baseman. And then there was one. Did the catcher go too? He went later. He didn't go right away.
Someone said Schwarber.
Schwarber. I might have been Schwarber.
Yeah.
But they all went
within a day and a half.
Bryant fizzled. Rizzo's never done anything spectacular. And Baez just completely sucked. All right. But they were really, really good when they got rid of him, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
So why would other 30-year-olds make sense? Why did Buster? Think about this, guys. Buster Posey was the catcher for all of Johnny Cueto's Giants tenure and Jeff Samardzija. They were signed by the Giants to 5-year deals. Samardzija 5 years, $90 million, like 18 a year. And that was back in 2016. So now that doubles. Okay. Think of it as like a $30+ million contract. And who else was Cueto had a 6th year, I believe, with some kind of option. He had a buyout. He could have opted out, but he didn't. And so they had him for longer. Don't you think Buster realized that those 2 contracts, although at the time in 2016, both of them pitched well enough to get the Giants into the playoffs, but those went bad. I don't think Buster is signing 30-year-old pitchers to more than 5 years max, 4, maybe 4. I think that's why he was out on Burns. I don't think they offered, because we heard it wasn't $200 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was probably 5 years at the most.
It was probably the Snell contract, or close to the Snell contract.
Well, Snell got 5/182. I bet you Burns was getting 5/190.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wait, would you have done the Snell deal 5 at 182?
If I'm the Dodgers, heck yeah.
If you're the Giants,
because
I would have. I would have.
I probably would have. Yeah, Blake Snell's excellent. I would have done it. You don't have anything close to him.
I don't understand.
When he's on, he's dominant.
Unless Snell was just going to the Dodgers from day one and he had made up his mind, like, I want to go to the Dodgers. I want to be part of this rotation. I don't understand why the Giants couldn't have tried to retain him, because that was a pretty fair contract. It wasn't too long,
Yeah.
5 years. He's been in the rotation, and now you've replaced him with a 41-year-old, 42-year-old Justin Verlander. I mean, it hasn't been a great offseason.
Bora, I was told they hadn't even sat down with him, and he already.
They probably hadn't. The Dodgers.
So, I think last year, the way the season ended, do you remember, was it the second to last game? He didn't want to pitch because it didn't mean anything. It didn't mean 500 or whatever. I think they left on bad terms. I think also here it is. He has a great year, but they signed Chapman, I think, with the final week of the season, and they made sure they signed him. And it's like, what about me? And, I think they left on bad terms, and then he signed, because I heard they hadn't even met with him. So, I don't know. It's hard. I mean, we get rid of Farhan and we're sort of like 1 step forward and 2 steps back.
I agree with Hiroku's statement here. If the Giants are willing to sign or take Chapman and Yaz's horrible hitting, they can sign Alonso, who had more power and hits better with runners in scoring position. Absolutely. The Giants, in the last 6-7 years with Farhan, 6 years he was here, he set this organization back very far, because the farm system when he took over was in the low 20s. And the whole idea was Larry Baer, we've signed this guy. He is going to turn our farm system around. Well, guess what? Bleacher Report had him ranked 30th. And some people argue they're not that bad, that they're what, 25th? Okay, they're at best they're still in the 20 beyond. They're not in the top 20. I don't see how the way the Giants have done business, it's very difficult to pick up players and become a destination when you sign guys and then they get a taste of what you've done the last several years. Buster is not only having to turn over the roster, he's going to have to turn over the entire culture, because Michael Conforto, Sean Manaea, Ross Stripling, I'm just thinking of veterans that have had success in the league, have come here.
Dubon when he went to Houston.
Yeah, Dubon, another one. They've had success here and they've left here and gone elsewhere, and they just don't want any part of it. Even Stephen Piscotty, who's from the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
I interviewed Stephen Piscotty 2 years ago in the clubhouse at spring training. Super great guy. Loved him. Just a first-class dude. Had one of the best springs of any Giant in 23. The Giants started the roster with guys on the DL or IL, whatever you want to call it, and it opened up a spot for Piscotty. They said no. I asked Gabe Kapler, is Piscotty did this at bat in a particular game where he hit a 0-2 pitch the opposite way for a big hit in the game. I said, does that type of bat bode well for his chances when you see a guy go the opposite way? Whatever. I've got it on tape. I'll play it sometime. But those guys, Stephen Piscotty, could have chose to just go to the minors. When I interviewed him, he said if he didn't make the team, he was going to go to the minors. But by the way, at the end of spring training and the way the Giants handled him, treating him as though he was just a number and didn't really give him the fair shake, he said, I'll take my release. Just give me my freedom. Let me be a free agent. You know where he played? He played in the White Sox AAA team. He could have played in Sacramento. He went to the White Sox, which is, I don't know where they play, but it's not near the West. Oh, he totally had players that just did not like the way this thing was being run. And then they get Matt Chapman and he becomes their one cheerleader, right? Oh, we're coming back, Giants fans, and we're going to sign guys and we're going to be a playoff team next year.
I've been talking to people.
Yeah. Who's he talking to?
I've been talking to people.
I haven't seen anybody but Adamas come.
Here's what I'll say then about the culture and the clubhouse and everything. I think we can all agree that Farhan's culture and the way Farhan ran the club, the culture was not good. There have been reports about how he took down every piece of memorabilia and everything. So I think this offseason and signing Chapman to an extension, signing Willie Adames to an extent or to a contract, signing Justin Verlander to a contract, while on paper the contract and the money and the numbers might not be great, I think those guys as people and those guys as players in the clubhouse boost the team a little bit, and I think that's valuable. Like if you look at the Chapman contract, what is it? 6 years, 150, right?
Don't forget that
it's not a good contract. 151, my bad. It's not a good contract. The back half of that contract's not going to be great, but I think him as a player and him as a teammate is pretty valuable, and that's what a lot of people don't think about that, and that's valuable to a team, especially whose culture and whose clubhouse was not good. I mean, Gabe Kapler's clubhouse, he completely lost the clubhouse. He lost the locker room. So you've needed some guys to kind of boost that up. And I think this team isn't going to be great this year. They're probably not going to be great next year. But you can build on a culture and on guys in the clubhouse who have good morals and are good teammates. And I think that he's done a good job of that.
I'll give you that, Bora, because that's sort of what, when you watch some of the 2010, 12, and 14 World Series, everyone said the same things. The egos were put at the front of the door. We played as a team. We were for each other, and I think last year we saw a lot of that, especially with Duvall, where people would come up to him after he gave up 4 runs. They're trying to help him out. He didn't care. It was almost like, dude, no English, just get out of my way. And it sort of hurt the team, and, maybe you bring up a great point. Maybe we got Verlander to help the youth, which obviously we need help on. And he could show guys the correct way of, here is a Hall of Famer. This is what you do, guys. You don't go out the night before. You study the players up to 2 days before. You get ready 6 hours before. You get fired up. This is how you warm up. This is what I've done. And if you're not going to listen to me where I've had success and I'm going to the Hall of Fame, then you guys shouldn't be on the major league team. You know what I mean? You never know. And, I think that's a great point. I really never thought of that. So well done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This team over-unders at 79. If they play the kids, it's probably going to be under. But like I said before, you got to build the foundation of the team. You can't just build the roof or the bedrooms first. You got to build the foundation. And I think Bob Melvin, Hiroki, you talk about Bob Melvin and Duvall. I think last year, it wasn't the reason they sent him down to the minors wasn't just because of his performance. It was his attitude and it was his personality too. So I think Posey and Melvin, while Melvin might not be the best manager, he's kind of a no bullshit guy. So he doesn't want guys who are cancers on his team. He wants to build a roster which has like good people. They have good guys on their team. They don't want anybody with big egos. No one's playing for themselves. Everybody's playing for the team. So I'll give them that. That's a couple things they've done well. But another thing, this is what I think they're doing, and this is kind of what Posey has said they're doing. With the pitching, they're going with the youth. I don't know what the plan is with Birdsong and Hicks. Hicks isn't going to finish out the year as a starter. I would just put him in the bullpen right away and have your rotation be Webb, Ray, Verlander, Harrison, and Birdsong, because I like that. You get these young guys, but I think what Posey's doing is he's playing for 2026 and he's playing for 2027. I kind of think this year is a wash, and he knows it. He knows this team doesn't really have a great shot. The Dodgers free agency has been really good. The D-backs free agency has been really good. Other teams in the National League's free agency has been really good. The Reds have made some trades. The Reds hired Terry Francona. The Cubs traded for Kyle Tucker. So these guys that are going to be that you're going to be competing with for the wild card spot have gotten better, and you've gotten marginally better. Like, you got better at shortstop, but you didn't get better at replacing Blake Snell, who for the second half of the season was just lights out dominant. If he would have pitched that way for the whole season, he would have won Cy Young. So you haven't done a good job of replacing him, but I think this year's just a building year. And it's just, what can you find out about this team and these young players? And what can you do? Aaron says Farhan and company ruined the culture, and even though Buster's now president, that's not enough. Players and agents want to see organizational results now, and rightfully so. Definitely, totally agree. It's not enough, and I think Farhan, that was just a disaster. I think, like, we watched it, and Dan, you and I, and when Eric was on, we were all saying it in Los. We were like, this is a disaster. This team is not good, and their farm system isn't good, and the culture is not good. I think internally it was a lot worse, and a lot of people realize that.
Check this out. Go ahead. Here's another one.
Melvin should take responsibility for Duvall, warming him up and putting him in non-save situations. We went
crazy over that last year. Why are you putting him in?
I get that, but at the same time, I get that closers especially are like those are your high energy guys, and those are the I think the more emotional guys in the bullpen. So I get that, but at the same time, like, if you're put in to pitch, you should be able to pitch. Just because you're not in a non-save situation doesn't mean you can't pitch all of a sudden.
Yeah, the one event that I remember, the Giants were down like 10 runs, something like that. And,
I remember that. Yeah, 10 runs, and he hadn't pitched in 10 days either.
Whatever, and that's why he got him some work. I get it, but I don't know what it was, but it was like a non-safe situation. It was so out of it that Duvall is one of those guys that feeds off of that energy as a closer. And but anyway, that was that. And then we did see a lot of this too, playing crappy Slater and Yaz when they were hitting 100. If I was a young guy, I'd be pissed off. Yeah. Hey guys, I did find this interview question with Piscotty. Let me see if I can.
And you should say a little story about why his story is sort of amazing. So I just want to bring that up.
Let me start it over.
Or I'll bring it up after you show the interview. Why he wasn't with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, let me find it again. Injuries to the right hand. There's hold on. Gotta find it. All right, here we go. Saw him today come up with a big hit, 2 bases loaded, 2 strikes on a right hand against Syndergaard. Looks like, with the right-handed injury to the right-handed batters, does that improve his shot at making the 26-man roster? You think?
Well, Scotty's got a nice camp for us. I don't think it's about today. He had a nice advance today. Yeah. Before that, his camp, he's been professional and sort of what we expected from a veteran player, making a lot of veteran plays throughout camp.
All right, that was it. Basically, Farhan screwed him.
Political answer.
Yeah, political answer. So these guys, they had a chance of having Piscotty win at least to start the season, because they didn't have anything. And then you didn't even go with the young guys. You didn't even go with Matos to start the season that year. So, or Luciano, they just, I don't know. Crazy. Oh,
hey,
what
Dan,
else
somebody on the thing brought up a good point, and I sort of forgot. Is Melvin only have 1 year left?
Yes, this is it.
Okay, so he's going to be making a major sacrifice if they do what Boris says. We're looking at 26-27. Say the Giants finish and they play the youth 70 and 92. Are they going to want to bring Melvin back? Or are we going to have another distraction where we're going to have to maybe pick another manager?
Dan, you go first.
I think for Melvin to come back, you've got to see 2 things. At least one of 2 things. One, a competitive team where they're playing 500 ball or a little over. And 2, you've got to see some growth. You've got to see some production from the young kids. If you don't get either of those, and they do finish, like you said, 70 and 92, and the young guys are just not performing that well, I think it's probably going to be a change. But could be wrong. They may give him another year just because it's his first real year. I consider it his first year as a manager with the Giants. I don't even count last year because I don't think he had the ability to do what he wanted to do. So what's your take, Bora?
I think so. Let's say they finish 70-92. I agree with you with the young kids have to show something. If they finish 70-92 and the young kids just have not produced and their future isn't looking bright, then he's probably gone. If they finish 70-92 and the young kids are starting to show something, Matos is playing better, Luciano is starting to show something, Ramos has continued his development, Fitzgerald has continued his development, then I think he's back. Another thing is, are they playing for him? Like, are they playing hard for him? Because remember, what was it? End of 22, This is when Kapler got fired, right?
23.
23. Okay, end of 2023. He had lost the clubhouse. They weren't playing for him. They just were not playing for him. So if they're 70-92, and the young kids are starting to play well, and the team is still in it, and they're playing hard, and they're playing for him, then I think he's back. If they're not doing that, then they're probably looking for another manager.
George, I'm with Hiroku on this. I'll take that bet too. I don't see Bochy coming back to the Giants because, number one, I don't see him leaving Texas if he has a good year. And if he leaves Texas, I think he's retiring. I can't see him coming back to be the Giants manager unless he just feels like he's still got a lot in the tank and he's done his time in Texas and Buster really wants him back and he's doing it, and he's going to give the Giants 2-3 years. Only way Bochy would come back is if the team was in a position to win. If they're not ready to win, he's not going to come back. I mean, I don't see that. Could be wrong, but you guys got
especially the way it ended, Dan.
Yeah.
Especially the way it ended.
Well, I don't just blame, I don't even blame Farhan for that. You know who I blame?
Larry Bear and Greg
Johnson. Larry Bear and Greg Johnson.
Yep, they kicked him out.
And
Alex, our sports writer, who says it didn't happen that way. You guys are watching the wrong thing. Alex, shut the hell up, you bum. Pavovich, give me a break.
Whoa, Mr. Salty going after the guys. I don't need to be the hammer here, man, anymore. That's why I've got Lou. I can become a nicer guy here. I don't have to just level on the Giants.
And then again, he's talking to Kuiper's son, who doesn't know baseball from the back of his ass. He's the worst guy. So those two guys get on the air. It's a laugh because he listens to Alex and agrees with everything, and then they have those bozos on Sunday recap of DJing and something else.
Summer Sundays, that was the
summer
worst show
send-off
ever.
or whatever. The worst show ever. They got the one girl that looks like Yamaguchi, who basically isn't even there half the time. And they go to her when they have picks, and she's always wrong. That's the way I make money, whatever she says. Oh, I see the Giants winning 3 in a row. All right, I'm betting the series against the Giants. And then they got the brother who's fantastic, who's a good DJ, and he's doing it. And then they got some other girl who looks like might be someone's girlfriend, very attractive, and she wears the same outfit every time. I mean, it's an embarrassing show. Just Comcast Bay Area.
I don't think that show's on anymore. Is it? Isn't it gone?
Oh yeah, they do it.
Gone.
It's Sundays only at home games. It's an embarrassment.
Are you talking about you talking about Teresa Vanal? Was she on that?
I don't even know their names.
Yeah, the four people. There were 4 of them.
Yeah,
the one that you said
they do their show right where they have a DJ
married.
by the
she's
415.
married, I think.
Yeah, the 415 right in front of the 415 crowd. Crowd. Yeah. That took place right next to the old garden. Remember the great garden, Larry Bear's bright idea? Yeah, okay, good job, Larry.
Oh, Rob C said it was canceled. I thought that show was canceled. I thought they got that.
I saw it last year a few times. Only Sunday home games. Pathetic.
Oh boy. Yeah, he said it was canceled in 2024. Maybe yeah.
Of course, because nobody watched it. It was horrible.
That was horrible.
Do you guys like since we're talking the ball team and the ballpark, do you like the new DJ, Lou? The gal
at the ballpark?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Are you talking about the girl that took over the girl from the radio that had been there for 25 years?
Not the PA. The DJ out there that's playing all the music, and they show her on the scoreboard, and she's dancing.
What, are we at a Warrior game where I got to hit rap crap? I'm here to watch a Giants game. I don't need
but do you like that, or do you like the old music when they used to play, Don't Stop Believing, and
they used to do that. They used to do that in the 8th inning, and if we were losing, they would play Lights. So they had the version, and that's only because Steve Perry is a season ticket holder. He was actually pretty close to Dan's section. He sat behind home plate.
I know exactly where he sat.
I think the problem is the Giants are hurting for so much fans. They're trying anything they can. They see what happens for the Warrior game, but NBA crowd is completely different than a Giant crowd. I don't need anything. Just do me a favor. Have the right scoreboard with the right scores in right field. And then bring back the beer vendors. If you want to do something, bring back the vibe. There's no reason why you can't bring back the beer vendors in the stands. Why can't you? I mean, do something. Do something so it's fun. And having a DJ during a game and like a college event, that's what they do at AAA because people, don't really watch the game. They're there for the vibe. When I go to the ball game at Oracle Park, I'm there to sit in my front row, tell the usher after the 6th time, can I see your seats? I go, dude, you're an idiot. Get out of my way. You asked the same thing last night. I just want to watch the game. I want to watch good baseball, and I want to watch the visiting team beat the shit out of the Giants so I can make sure I win my under every year. Thank you very much.
And with that, I think we're done. Lou closes it out strong. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining tonight and being part of NorCal Sports Network. Check out our videos. We do have some videos that will be out tomorrow. We had a couple go out today. Got one coming out, I believe, on Marco Luciano, should the Giants trade him. So that should be coming out, I believe, tomorrow. So make sure you check that out. Give those videos. They're only, 8 to 10 minutes long, guys. So watch them, comment on them. We were able to get back to more of the comments there generally than here because just more time. I can sit down and not have to, focus in on the chat, focus in on what I'm going to talk about in the show, but I can read your comments and get back to many of them as I can. Also, we want to bring up our new sponsor, Betr, B-E-T-R. We don't have their logo, do we? You pull that up anywhere, Bora?
I'm working on the logo right now.
Okay, so Bora is working on the logo, and I am going to pull something up here. I just got to get to it here 1 second here while what did I do here? Okay, here we go. I can, 1 second here. I want to give you guys a little bit of I just got to pull it up here. Where did it go? Okay, here we go. So Betr with better picks. All right, guys, better picks. You can unleash your skills by picking more or less for your favorite player stats. And guess what? You can win up to 2,000 times your entry. That's right. Just imagine turning a small play into a huge payday. Click on the link right here. It's in the chat. You can see it there. It's in the chat. Click on that, guys, and below to join. And that should give you a right to our code, but promo code, put in NCSN. That's NCSN for NorCal Sports Network, obviously. With that code, you'll get up to a first-time match of up to $250. So if you put in 10, which is the minimum, they'll give you $10 more. If you put in 90, they'll give you 90. If you put in 250, you get 250. If you put in more, you still get 250. But guys, that's a great deal, and it's a lot of fun. If you've done other fantasy apps like this, Betr is the best. They've got a great app, and they give you some really good picks, and I like some of their picks. You can there's a multiplier. Give it a shot. BETR. Download it on your Android or Apple phone and go at it. Have some fun with it. Again, you get $10 is all you got to do to start, and they're giving you $10 with the NCSN code. And if you want to play more, you can get up to $250. I think it's a great deal. Ryan's tried it. I've done it. It's fun. So what has a better ROI? Yes. What has a better return on investment? Better or secure money? Well, that's a good question, Aaron. I can tell you this. and Luke can tell you, you never lose money with secure money. Now, if you're a crappy picker like I am sometimes, and you missed how many games this weekend? How many games did I miss? Like almost all of them. I got Buffalo right. I missed out on the Chargers. I took Green Bay in an upset. I thought that would be the one upset. And I think I was going with Minnesota tonight, which I shouldn't have. But if you're crappy like me, then secure money is the better way to go. All right, guys. Last comment before we leave. Go ahead, Bora.
What's the last
Got anything?
comment?
You have anything?
No, I'm all good. I'm good. I said
right.
what I needed to say.
Okay. And we'll read this last comment. Do the Giants have enough money for Santander or Bregman? Of course they do. Or should I say, will they spend the money? Of course they won't. With that, we'll see you guys tomorrow. 7:45 tomorrow night. Everybody take care. Have a good night.